Hi, my name is Mark and welcome back to Pepple's Potager. So today I'm going to be talking about the cantaloupe I've been growing. You saw it on the video tour that I did a week or so ago, but now I'm going to talk about how I'm growing it. So I have this 4x4 bed here, and I planted about 6 cantaloupe. Actually, I only have 5 cantaloupe plants in there. Squirrels got to one of the other plants and somehow tore it out, so I really only have 5 in there. But I put this 5-foot trellis in the bed, and I'm planting cantaloupe on each side, and I'm growing it right up the middle, and you can see it's really taking off right now. It's got a little bit out of control because I haven't been out here to take care of it and trim it up, but I also planted some zinnia on the outside of this bed as well to help bring in some bees. And if you look on the inside of the trellis here, you can see I already have some cantaloupes that are pollinated, and they're starting to grow pretty quickly. And I saw an even bigger one in here, right about right there. And I'm gonna tie a lot of these cantaloupes up with some fruit netting to keep it from tearing all the vines off the trellis, and to make sure the fruit don't fall all the way to the ground. Otherwise, if all the vines tear off of there, then it'll rip the plant apart, and so I'll lose some of the fruit. And so I want to tie it up there and make it nice and neat. Okay, so I've cleaned up a lot of the cantaloupe vines that were growing everywhere to make things a little tidier. And if you look over here, I've tied a cantaloupe to the trellis with a small fruit bag. This fruit bag expands outward, so as the cantaloupe gets bigger, it'll fit right in there. I tied one end here, one end over here, and this will hold the cantaloupe up there on the trellis, and it'll keep it from pulling all the other vines down. And that way the vines won't break and I'll lose a lot of my cantaloupes. This is a good idea for growing in small spaces. Ideally, it would probably be easier to grow things sprawled across the ground, but I don't have a lot of space, and this makes it easier for me. If you look down here, I have some more tied up there. And walk around to the other side. And if you look down there at the bottom there, I have a pretty nice size one growing there. And a couple more here. So I built this trellis out of 2x4s and some wire fencing covered in vinyl. It's black wire fencing. And I just stapled it to the 2x4s. And just decided to grow the cantaloupes right up there. And it worked pretty well for me, so I figured I'd share it with everybody else. So just want to do a quick update on the cantaloupe. They're actually doing pretty well so far, but I do have a little bit of a problem with them right now. I have some powdery mildew, and I need to get rid of that so it doesn't get too far out of control and not kill off the plant there. So I ordered something from Amazon called Green Cure, and it's potassium bicarbonate, and supposedly that does real good as a fungicide, and it should get rid of the powdery mildew. It says on the label that it has a residual effect from 1 to 2 weeks, and it says it can actually eliminate powdery mildew if you use it regularly. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a try and see how that works. Okay, so it says on the instructions to put 2 tablespoons per gallon of water. So I already put about half a gallon in there, and I put 1 scoop in there. I'm going to put another scoop in, and then I'll fill the container up the rest of the way, and we'll spray it on the cantaloupe and see what happens. Okay, so I filled my spray can up with the Green Cure, and I'm going to spray it on the powdery mildew, and We're just going to spray it evenly real good here. And make sure you get all the leaves and underneath. And I'm going to spray the soil there for a little bit as well, just to help get rid of the powdery mildew. And then I'm going to check back tomorrow and see how well it looks. And then we'll spray again next week and see if it got rid of the powdery mildew. So as y'all know, last week I found some powdery mildew on my cantaloupe, and I hadn't really been out here a while to check on it, but I decided to spray it down with some green cure, which is potassium bicarbonate. And the powdery mildew had spread pretty quickly before I got out here. So I'm not so sure that the green cure actually had a chance to really work all that well. It did work some. I can see that some of the powdery mildew is gone on a lot of the leaves, but there's still some left that the green cure didn't kill. So I think I probably would have fared better if I would have got out here sooner, but we just recently had a new addition to our family, so just haven't been able to get out here as much. But I'm still gonna get some cantaloupe out of it, I believe. I think at least so far I have 2 pretty large ones on there right now, and there's some other ones there that are still growing, so I'm gonna leave them on there and wait for them to ripen, and we'll see how the cantaloupe does for the rest of the year. But I would say my opinion is that the green cure worked. I just got out here a little too late and it didn't work as well as it should have. So I may spray it again. I don't know. Maybe I'll just let the cantaloupes go for this year, and we'll try again next year. So as y'all know, if you've been watching my videos, I've been growing some cantaloupe this year. The cantaloupe I grew was called Hale's Best, and they're Hale's Best Jumbo cantaloupes, and they usually produce 3 to 4 pound cantaloupes. And if you've been watching my videos, you know I've had a lot of problems with powdery mildew this year, partly because I got my plants in the ground later this year. When you get your plants in the ground late, that means you're going to get a harvest later in the summer when disease and pests are more rampant. So the earlier you get your plants in the ground, the better you are as far as disease and pests go. You can get your harvest before a lot of that sets in. But generally, powdery mildew can be manageable. I did manage to get rid of some of it, but I got out here too late to actually keep it under control, and as you can see, there's still a lot on there. But I did post a picture the other day of one of the cantaloupes that I harvested, and it turned out really good. It was about a 3 or 4 pound cantaloupe, and I actually have a few more on here. There's a couple up in here, some of them not quite that big. That one's a fairly nice size. It's going to be a small one, but I have one more down here that's ready to harvest, and you can take a look down here, and you can tell it's ready to harvest because you see that little spot right there? That's where the vine was attached, and usually it falls right off the vine very easily when it's ready to be harvested. And you can also tell by the color. It changes from a green to a orangish or a tan color. So that's how you know it's ready to pick. So let's go ahead, we'll pull that off there and take a look at it. Really decent sized cantaloupe there. It's not bad at all. But let's go around the other side here and we'll see what else we got going on. Yeah, and we have another small one here that might do pretty good. I don't think these are going to get much bigger than what they are. because a lot of these vines are in bad shape. But it'll still be worth harvesting. It'll probably be pretty sweet because it's smaller. But so that really just does it for my harvest for this year. I'm only going to get probably another 2 more cantaloupes off of here. Last year I got a lot more. I probably got 3 per vine last year. So for a small space, not bad. But things could have been a lot better. So like I said, if I would have got these in the ground earlier in the year, I probably would have got a better harvest out of it. Plus I haven't been able to spend as much time out here as I wanted to. But that's it for my cantaloupe harvest. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope you got some good information out of it. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can also find me on Facebook. Have a good weekend.